has the top 256 gigs of storage plus 12 gigs of RAM loadout, there's also an 8 Plus 128 version that will sell for less in some countries. Like the 8 and 8 Pro, you've got a hole-punch selfie camera up in the top corner there, but unlike those phones, we're back to a flat-style panel that's simpler and less prone to accidental touches than a curved display. So this is a fantastic screen, and even though the resolution isn't the highest, I think you'll struggle to find a better overall display at this price point. In-screen fingerprint and Face Unlock are back too, and both work great on the 8T. You still can't use Face Unlock for mobile payments and other secure apps though. The fit and finish of this phone is pretty sharp too. I'm usually a fan of matte glass on phones like this, and the Lunar Silver 8T does come with this kind of frosted finish. But my aquamarine green 8T's glossy rear looks pretty classy, and OnePlus has made use of diffused reflection on its back panel to reduce the appearance of fingerprints, which is pretty impressive. In fact, this is probably the least fingerprinty glossy phone I've ever used. The situation with water resistance is a bit complicated though. The global model I have here has no IP rating, but the T-Mobile US version is rated IP68, even though there's no functional difference between the way the two of them are made. So you can draw your own conclusions there, but for the unlocked 8T that I've been using, I've splashed it with water, I've used it out in the rain, and it's been perfectly fine. Meanwhile, on the back, the camera module has shifted over the top left corner, which OnePlus says is to help fit in more stuff inside the phone, including the new and larger vapor chamber cooling system, which helps with overall performance, but also with a new 65-watt quick charge feature. With a 4500 mAh battery, OnePlus boasts a full day in just 15 minutes of charge. So basically around twice as fast as the old Quick Charge 30T. I've timed it, and I went from dead to 50% in 15 minutes, then up to full in 39 minutes, which just happens to exactly match OnePlus's quoted numbers. The charging brick now supports UPS too, meaning you can use it to charge other supporting devices like laptops up to 45 watts, and because of the way this new Water Charge 65 works, you can now use it with any USB-C to C cable, provided OnePlus's charging brick is on the other end, which is pretty great. No need to worry about using private cables anymore. As for battery life, I've been getting around the same on the OnePlus 8T as I did from the OnePlus 8. The battery is slightly bigger, but you've also got a higher refresh rate screen to contend with, so the two pretty much balance each other out there. In any case, that means a pretty easy full day of use for me without any battery anxiety. Popping out about OxygenOS hasn't gone anywhere in this new version. You still get the fastest performance and the latest version of Android. And as with any big visual changes, there are going to be some polarized opinions about the way it looks. Fortunately though, this is a OnePlus phone, so you can customize an awful lot about that experience. Even with all the online drama about this new UI, I'm mostly fine with the out-of-the-box look, and I still appreciate features like Zen mode for digital downtime, and other things like the many OnePlus gesture shortcuts. So, onto some small changes. Despite the redesigned camera module, the camera gubbins inside hasn't changed all that much compared to the OnePlus 8. The 8T's main sensor is still the 48MP IMX586, which OnePlus has been using in a bunch of its phones since the OnePlus 7 Pro. It's a proven sensor and still takes great photos, but it is a step below the larger IMX689 from the OnePlus 8 Pro, which is still pitched as the flagship of the series, especially for photography. There's no telephoto lens, which limits your options somewhat for far shots, but you do get a 16MP ultra-wide, the same sensor used in the OnePlus 8, but now with a wider 120-degree angle, which is great at capturing a wider field of view, but which does struggle in low light compared to the ultra-wide of the 8 Pro. The front-facing 16MP camera is also unchanged from the OnePlus 8. It's a competent performer overall, but unfortunately Nightscape mode still isn't supported with that selfie camera. Finally, there's a 5MP macro camera, which is fine, I guess. Macro photography isn't a huge priority for me personally, but at least this